Senators, take your seats. All right. I hereby call to order the 9th meeting of the 62nd session of the Student Senate at 7 p.m. With that, when I call your name, please answer with either present or here. Thank you. Senator Bradley. Senator Brown. Senator Castillo.
Present.
Senator Coates. Senator Cowden.
Present.
Senator Cunningham.
Present.
Senator Day. Senator Ezell. Senator Flores.
Present.
Senator Gibson.
Present.
Senator Glover. Senator James.
Here.
Senator Kata.
Present.
Senator Kahinde.
Present.
Senator Kendrick. Senator Khan. Senator Lube. Senator Majors. Senator Martin.
Here.
Senator Mattson.
Present.
Senator John Miller. Senator Kate Miller.
Present.
Senator Morgan. Senator Mounts.
Present.
Senator Nazir. Senator Nguyen.
Present.
Senator Njau. Senator Owaru. Senator Peter. Senator Peterson.
Present.
Senator Reed. Senator Ritchie.
Present.
Senator Sanchez.
Here.
Senator Spencer.
Present.
Senator Taran.
Present.
Senator Tubak.
Present.
Senator Tucker. Senator Wang. Senator Webb.
Present.
Senator Wright.
Present.
Senator Zacharias.
Here.
Just by the skin of our teeth. So we have met quorum tonight with 23 total in attendance. Simple majority will be 12. 2/3 of present will be 16. 2/3 majority will be 30. And 2/3 of the entire Senate shall be 43. You get the names of who walked in. With that, we'll move into Section 3, approval of the minutes. Are there any corrections to be noted for the minutes for the previous meeting? Seeing none, they will be adopted as such. Moving into Section 4, public forum. Public forum provides a chance for individuals to have the privilege of speaking before the Senate. This is a time for the association to listen to what the community has to say, and to that we offer our undivided respect and attention. I would like to remind everyone that although we allow the speakers the privilege to use this platform, the opinions of the speakers do not necessarily reflect sorry about that, the opinions of the association or the university. Lastly, in the essence of time, we do limit speeches in public forum to a length of 3 minutes unless the speaker has spoken to us about it ahead of time. With that, there is such a speaker, and is anyone from student health present? Please approach the podium.
Sorry about that. I'll say that again in case everybody didn't hear me. My name is Camille Childers. I'm the Director of Student Health Services on campus, and we are here with other representatives who are representing wellness for the campus to talk to you and bring you an update on the YMCA and Student Wellness Project. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. I'm Jessica Provines, the Assistant Vice President of Wellness, and I work closely with Camille's group and John's group in Campus Rec, and I also serve as the Director for our Counseling and Prevention Services on campus.
Good evening. I'm George Sorensen. I'm the new branch director for the Steve Clark YMCA portion of the building.
Hello, and I'm John Lee, Director of Campus Recreation.
Click. We'll move to the next one. Okay, so tonight we wanted to kind of give an update on where the construction is in relation to the building and kind of give you guys some heads up on where we are and where we expect to be at towards the end of this semester. And so at construction, the project is trending to have major work completed on time. We'll talk a little bit about what that means. So final work and load in on all 3 spaces will be in December, and the parking lot and designated enforcement will evolve as the facility evolves as well. So the usage of that parking lot. We can go to the next slide. As far as staffing goes, so we have started looking at staffing. So director positions have been posted. We are going to be posting our hourly positions in October this month and in November, and all positions have been posted or will be posted on Handshake. We are looking also at intern and co-op program developing in conjunction with the university, and we've had meetings and we've started that discussion. In terms of the student membership itself, since its inception in August of 2017, we've had over 520,000 gate swipes throughout the 9 locations here in Wichita. And we have seen that we've had more of a seamless student experience in terms of from semester to semester, which we feel like that has kind of smoothed itself out in terms of how the membership starts and ends for students. And then as far as youth programming, we will have the on-site Kids Zone. That'll be available for members with an additional fee, and we're working on logistics with how that will all roll out. And then we can go to the next slide.
Well, part of this project includes the Student Wellness Center, which will be the new home for both Student Health Services and the Counseling and Prevention Services department. So both of our departments will move out of our current location and move into the Student Wellness Center when it's open in early January. So some of the advantages of that program is that we will have the access through X-ray on campus, which we've never had. Wesley Urgent Care is going to have an X-ray suite in their facility, and we are going to be meeting with Wesley to create a collaboration so that we can look at what cost savings there could be for students. All of that is still up in the air as Wesley starts staffing that facility, so we don't have answers to that yet. But we are looking to figure out not only can we collaborate with Wesley, but we have a lot of collaboration plans to go along with the YMCA to really focus on a holistic wellness experience for students on campus.
Yeah, so we're really excited about the space, and I think what we were saying, we had like 9,000 square feet between the two of our departments, and when we move into the new wellness center, we're going to have 15,000, square feet to expand into it. So it's going to give us room to grow as demands for mental health services on campus, continue to rise, and make sure that we're able to meet the needs of our students. We're really excited about our new group room. There's kind of a rendering of it up there. That is going to be a space where we can run more group therapy programs, which we've really been seeing a lot of success with this year, as well as it will give us an opportunity to do some trainings. We foresee maybe continuing our We Support You Preventing Suicide trainings out of this room, and really kind of bring campus into the wellness center, as a destination space, and in addition to using the wellness center just for services. There's going to be this picture at the bottom. That is our check-in area. So there'll be one convenient check-in for both departments. So now, if you have a appointment with student health or you have a counseling appointment, there's just going to be one place to go, one check-in. It'll be really convenient for students. How you reach us, our current phone numbers will continue to work in the new space. We're also working with Strategic Communications to roll out some new marketing for the Wellness Center and getting a new general number as well. It was kind of Camille's idea, 978 for SWC, for Student Wellness Center. So yeah. Next slide, please. Sorry.
Okay, I'm here representing Campus Recreation and the Heskett Center, and so just wanted to let you know what's going to stay the same and what's going to change as we move forward into January. First of all, facility-wise, the only thing that changes is we changed the cardio room into e-gaming hub is what we're going to call it. That opens later this month. We'll have 20 stations of e-gaming, PlayStation, Xbox, and VR gaming as well. But the rest of the facility stays the same. So what else do we'll no longer have is personal training. By the end of December, we will hand that off to the Y, and they will take that over. And many of our group exercise programs will discontinue, with the notable exception of F45 and any water exercises that we do. Again, otherwise, the health center remains unchanged. We're still going to run intramural sports, sport clubs, special events like the Pumpkin Run, and so on. It's also important to note, starting in January, that anybody who is a Y member in all of Wichita can also now use the Heskett Center. So that's something you may not know. But that's what, moving forward, I think you won't see that much of a difference between the Heskett Center, what it was and what it will be.
Next slide.
Yeah, so kind of talking about the timing of things. So tentatively right now, our opening schedule will look like a private party to dedicate the building, which will take place in early January. We'll formally do a thank you for the donors. The YMCA, Wichita State, Wesley, and community participants will be invited to come and be a part of that. We also will have some preview days in early 2020. We look for that to be with some limited hours, and then we will start to launch some of the group exercise and fitness programming at that time. And then also we'll know that the Student Wellness Center will kick off in January 2020 as well. In addition to the Wesley Urgent Care, they will be opening in the spring semester. The timing of that may be a little bit off in terms of when they open comparative to the Y and to the Student Wellness Center. And then the grand opening, where we'll do a ribbon cutting, and it will work in conjunction with this group and many more organizations through the students, will take place when we get back from semester break, which we're anticipating that to be right around the 21st. And we'll have a big grand opening and encourage everybody to come out and check the space out and start using the facility. So that's the timeline on opening the facility, and then we'll go to the next slide.
Okay, I just thought about some things. The plan is for student health and CAPS the week after finals to close, to move, so we can get our facilities over to the Wellness Center. And I think that's really good timing for us. It's when the semester is over and our demand for services is way down, so I think that's good timing. We have updated the frequently asked questions page on the website, so there's a lot of information on there to get specific information. We're also meeting with several student groups, and organizations since August as we were planning this. We also do bi-monthly construction meetings, so we've been getting to see the process of the building as it goes up, which has been a treat for me. Tours, we are not really quite ready for hard hat tours yet. As soon as the space is safe and we feel like it's a opportunity, we'd love to invite some SGA members and be able to have you kind of get a hard hat tour of the space and see what's going on inside there. And then we're finalizing some of the looks, some of the artwork. It's gonna look really nice. If you see in some of the renderings, I think it's gonna be a space that this university can be proud of, that students are gonna be excited about, and it's really gonna connect all of the wellness services on campus to just create a better student experience. So look for us to be operational next spring. All right, and I think now we just have questions.
Senator Mounts, I saw you first.
Alrighty, so the first one, you mentioned jobs a little bit earlier in the presentation. So I was just wondering, are you only posting those like applications and things like that on Handshake?
No, currently the positions are posted on the YMCA website, which connects with Indeed. So they're out on Indeed and then on Handshake as well. Yeah.
Senator Peterson.
I'm on the Student and Safety Services Committee as well as a fellow YMCA employee. So I'm aware of the current services that we offer. Are you guys going to be bringing the CPR and first aid training at a student discount as well as child care? I know that's been a concern that's been brought to our committee several times.
So first question, so in terms of safety certifications, is that kind of the question? So so that will be available on site. We haven't necessarily, that's a great question and one that I'll make note of to see what we can do in terms of a discount. And then the child care piece of that, we met with the CDC across the street, and we don't want to duplicate services as to what they're offering. We are working in terms of looking at safety and all of those different kinds of things. So we will have a little bit more of what that will look like probably in the next month, so way before we open. So we'll communicate that out and let everybody know kind of what that is. But we're working with Kansas, the child care as well, to make sure that everything is compliant and we're meeting what we need to. But we will have the kids zone as traditional wise sit as well. So, and that will be, we'll look at the cost of that as well. Yeah.
Senator Ezel.
I know you guys touched on internships and co-ops, but because this is in partnership with Wesley, do you know if any opportunities will be given to nursing students or pre-med students to work here, and would that be done through student health or through Wesley?
That's a great question. We have often wanted to expand within student health services or opportunity for nursing students for clinical sites. We've never had the space to do that. So currently we're looking to see how the space functions before student health makes a decision. We do offer some limited now. We have PA students coming in, and we also have athletic training students coming in, but we needed a much larger space to accommodate more staff or more and students to go along with that. So I don't have an answer to that yet, but it is something we've discussed. I can't really speak to what Wesley is planning. Do you have any idea? George. So right now, we don't have a representative from Wesley up here, as you see. They are still in the process of identifying key staff, so we can't answer those questions, but when we find out, we will communicate that out as well.
Senator Day.
Is there a particular reason why the Heskett Center, which is traditionally a space meant for students, will now be open to members of the YMCA in general, and am I correct in saying that?
It was brought to a question to me a couple of months ago about having all Y members be members at the Heskett Center, and it was, and I wasn't involved in those conversations, but it's primarily because, and please correct me if I'm wrong, the people over that live in the 17th Street area, they wanted to have access to a pool, so it was really our pool that was the draw there. We're going to see what the Y and brings. I don't foresee a ton of people just driving from the west side to come to the Heskett Center. Maybe naive about it, but I don't foresee that. I think they'll use our pool for the most part, maybe our gym. But again, it was the Y's desire to engage the people at the 17th Street community, and with our pool and them not having a pool is why that decision was made. If we ever feel like we're being overrun, or there's certain like esports or certain programs that are getting overrun, then we'll look at what we're doing and make plans. So,
Senator Cowden.
I don't have a whole, can I comment on that? I don't have a whole lot of information to add. I think John answered that very well. My understanding is that there is a committee that works under Dr. Marche Fleming Randall's group, Diversity and Community Engagement, that's looking at how Wichita State can be an anchor institution for wellness in their surrounding communities. And out of those discussions came some desires to really have campus be more accessible to our surrounding community and a welcoming space, for community members. So a pool is a big draw, and we're, don't plan to have a pool in the YMCA space. And so I really think it's quite remarkable, the partnership that John Lee's Campus Rec has had with the YMCA, and just how collaborative they're all working together to make sure that we're not duplicating services, but we're also working together for students' needs and making sure we're accessible to our community.
Senator Cowden.
Okay, being that you said that all YMCA members are allowed to come to the Heskett Center, are they allowed also to attend the classes there? Because I do live on the west side, and I do drive all the way to attend Heskett Center classes, such as F45.
Moving forward, F45 and again some aquatic ones are the only group exercise we have. So specifically to those, if we've already talked about this, if we feel like the classes are full with outside non-students or non-WSU community members, we're going to use our app that you can get into the class with, and only have people eligible that are WSU students and faculty, staff. So that's the way we'll do it. But we just didn't want to start there, because if it's not an issue, I don't need to make a rule if it's not an issue. But particularly F45 and the esports hub, we want to really make sure that students get in there first, and that's our goal.
Senator Tehran.
Hi. So what are projected costs for counseling once the move is made?
Our services are going to be remaining the same. It will be the $10 to attend a session. That's our office visit, and we don't turn any students away for inability to pay. So,
Senator Mounts, do you still have a question?
So, with community members being able to use our YMCA, are students going to still hold their YMCA memberships? Like for me, because I live on the west side, so I prefer to go to the west side Y if it's closer to my house.
Yeah, in terms of the membership, it will always be, it's to the 9 locations, but now will be 10. So yeah, that will not change.
Senator Ritchie.
I don't really know anything about the number of student jobs that were available before this was created. Do you guys have an estimate of how many, if any, student jobs will be available with the creation of this facility?
That's a good question, and right now I don't have an exact number. We know that we will have 3 director positions right now that are posted, and then we will post for basically everything from custodial administrative assistants to personal trainers to fitness floor membership and so forth. That could range in terms of how many group exercise instructors we have or how many personal trainers we have. So that range could be anywhere from 30 to 40 staff. And we will look at WSU students. We'll look at WSU students who maybe have graduated. We'll and community at large as well. So,
Senator Zacharias, do you still have a question? Senator James.
Are people in the community going to pay for HESCAT use, or is it free with the YMCA membership?
It's free with the YMCA membership, including faculty and staff who have Y memberships but don't have a HESCAT. They can get in for free.
Senator Majors.
One concern with having a public facility on campus is parking. In regards to parking, do you have a rough estimate as to how many parking spaces will be allotted for visitors of the Y?
Sure. Currently, there are about 170 spots around the facility. In terms of those spots, we know that some will be allocated for ADA purposes. There'll be some spots allocated for student wellness, and then the remaining will be open in terms of general public. We will. We've been working and talking with campus. Parking services. I was going to call it something else. Yeah, parking services. Met with them early on, and we think we have a plan laid out. But again, this is going to be a fluid thing to see kind of how it goes. We don't really necessarily know in terms of people coming onto campus and what that's going to look like. But we will communicate that out to the students as we know more of what that looks like. Yeah.
Senator Mounts.
So with that question of parking, knowing how many people have to park off campus because of the amount of parking spots, is that parking lot just going to fill up every single day like all the other parking lots do, and then community members won't be able to visit because there's no parking?
Well, and that's a great question, and it's one we just don't know the future yet. I mean, obviously we do know that people park outside of campus, and it could be an issue. And I think that that's where we'll have to be a bit fluid with that to see how we address it if it becomes that. It's hard to say right now as we sit here. We know we've got 170 spots and a few are allocated, but I think as we get into the semester and we kind of see how things go, we'll work with probably you guys, with campus parking and so forth to make sure we have the best solution there. Yeah.
Senator James.
So since the HESCAT will be free to the community members, is the HESCAT going to be allocated any funds from the YMCA so they could balance out the cost?
That's not in the plans right now. From what I was told, we're just going to see how it goes, and then go from there. One thing I'll say is the HESCAT Center is a massive facility. It's the gym alone is 55,000 square feet, so we have we have space to hold most of them. But not at this particular time is there going to be any money from the Y going to the campus rec.
Senator Ritchie.
Is there how is student wellness going to be affected by the move? Is the transition going to affect anything at all?
Yeah, we're really anticipating a pretty seamless transition of our current services that are taking place at Student Health and CAPS, and just being in a newer, larger space, more welcoming space. So we're not seeing a whole lot of change, but I really think what it does is provides us an opportunity to grow and to expand. And one thing I don't know that we highlighted this, is that, Katrina. We're working with her, and we have a student advisory wellness committee that is meeting monthly, and we're going to continue to meet monthly. And our goal is, as this unfolds, is to continue to get student feedback and input in how we can make the services best meet your all needs.
Senator Zacharias.
With the large demand for parking from our students, how do you guys plan on keeping students from parking in the YMCA parking lot all day, prohibiting visitors from using the spots?
So the lot currently will be designated as YMCA parking for traditional hours, which would be the 7 to 5 time slot. How we police that, we'll work with campus parking on that. I don't plan to have a golf cart out there and watching everybody who parks and so forth. And so, again, it's going to be a fluid situation where I think we will see how things evolve, and then we might have to make some adjustments based on what we're seeing. I think it's also fair to point out, I don't know I anticipate that the day usage in this facility will be student driven, and outside of those hours of probably that 7 to 5, that we would see maybe more of the community, especially maybe in the morning time, come in and use the facility. So from a parking standpoint, if we see that there isn't the need that we need 170 spots, we may be able to make some adjustments. But again, it's just going to take us some time to figure that out. Does that answer your question? Hopefully. Okay.
Senator Kahinde.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do know that the YMCA was built without an increase in the student fees. I just wanted to know, in maintaining this building, like paying for the staff and all of that, will you cause any increase in the student fees in any way? And if yes, by how much?
I am not aware of that any student fees will change.
Senator Peterson.
I'm sure I can speak for pretty much every student on campus. We're very happy that the Y is coming to our campus. I think it's going to bring a lot of positivity here. That being said, obviously it's going to make a huge impact on WSU, and a lot of questions cannot directly be answered today. Would you guys be possibly interested in coming back to give us an update about not only just the questions that can't be answered today, but maybe things that we're not even aware about currently?
Absolutely, and I think that the Wellness Advisory Committee, that could be something where we could also be getting questions answered, and if you want to invite us back to answer some particular questions, we'd love for you to have us. Yeah.
Senator Ritchie.
I have a question about the recreation center. The new, or the transformed, I guess, esports or gaming hub. Is the purpose of that going to be for the on-campus esports team, or is that going to be purely recreational? How's it going to work, just out of curiosity?
Any student can go in there for no charge. It's for all students. The esports varsity team will still be around the corner in that office. Will they sometimes want to practice because they can't have enough game time over there? Sure. If they have a big competition where they're playing, I'm making this up, Wisconsin, they might be in there. But generally speaking, from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and all the rest of our hours, whoever is a student at Wichita State can be in there. The only thing you'll need to do to get into the computer is put in your MyWSU ID credentials. So.
I'm thinking it's going to be kind of similar to like cross-country track when they're in the gym.
Yeah, so but any student can, it's really for the students. We have a space for the varsity team. We just need a bigger space for in a convenient location. And hopefully by the third week of this month, we can have a grand opening.
Senator Mounts.
So if we are inviting community members to come swim in the Heskett pool, will those hours change? Because I know a lot of those hours are really hard to make it to, especially for me who does like to sleep in.
We always look at how many people show up versus, facility use. So if we think that a lot of people are going to come, yes, we'll be open. But in the short run, I have no feel for this type of thing of how many people are going to come. Is it more weekends because it's the 17th Street? We limit it because between 2 and 5 or 1 and 5 on a Saturday, we're only getting so many people. So it doesn't make sense to go from 1 to 11 p.m. But we would love to be open more. However, if we do that, that is a significant cost to keep the pool with lifeguards staffed. And as George has run other facilities, he's aware of that too. So that's not an easy one to open without asking for more money from somebody.
And I'll add to that. I mean, I would anticipate that we would, let me just say that, we're not going to necessarily push people there. I think the other part of that is that we would, evaluate that in terms of, are there just certain hours that we would say, hey, it's open during X hours. So we want your campus to be a student first campus, right? And so, we will work through that.
Senator Tucker.
Yeah, I would just really like to quickly circle back around to the kid zone and childcare. I'm curious if you could give us an approximate number for a capacity of children you could babysit, essentially daycare, I suppose.
I mean, that's a good question. The kid zone is it's probably I should know that number. It's about 2,000 square feet roughly, and so that space can hold quite a few kids. It really comes down to safely, how many can we hold, at any given time. A program in there, if it's a drop situation, we would make sure that we have designated times for that, and so we would be able to say, okay, well, we can safely staff that and have the right amount of kids in there. So that's some of the things that we're looking at right now in terms of with Kansas licensing and some of those kinds of things. Does that answer your question? I mean, I can't give you an approximate number of kids right as we stand here today. I mean, I wouldn't say we could have 100 kids in there, right? If we looked at some alternative programming and some things like that, that we can open up some other areas of the building, then we could potentially take more kids. So, I think as we look at need and as we move forward, that'll be something that we continually address to make sure we're meeting a need.
Before we get to your follow-up, Senator Nazir.
I'm not sure if you discussed this earlier, but are there going to be any facilities, restrooms, or services provided for LGBTQ students and community members? Are there going to be gender-neutral bathrooms or just areas where they can feel comfortable?
I can speak to the Student Wellness Center. All of our bathrooms are gender neutral, and Student Health is expanding our services for trans care, and we're also offering prep services for students. Within the Y, there is a family restroom, quote unquote family, which is gender neutral as well.
Senator Tucker, you still have a follow-up?
So just as a follow-up to the child care questions, I know you said earlier the logistics haven't quite been figured out just yet, but I am curious, for students who perhaps have children and have to have some sort of child care service to watch their child while they're in class, what will be done to ensure that they could have access to this?
That's what we're working through right now.
Senator Wright, do you still have a question? Senator Nazir?
Just going back to that question, so are those services and restrooms in the new YMCA, or is that just in the Wellness Center?
The services I spoke of are healthcare services, and that's part of student wellness program, student health program. So that's available now in student health, and we'll continue that. Do you have any other particular programming?
Did I miss a question there in terms of
LGBT. So, does that answer your question, or is there something more you wanted to know?
I guess the main thing I wanted to know is if there's going to be gender neutral bathrooms in the YMCA.
There will be.
Yes.
Most definitely. Quite a few.
Senator Mounts.
So I know you mentioned a family restroom in the YMCA. Would that include like a place to shower and things like that as well? Okay.
Are there any other questions for the representatives? Senator Castillo.
So you mentioned a little bit about with the wellness center how there is going to be the new X-ray services, and you kind of touched too on the services for the LGBTQ plus students. Could you expand more on any other services that might be coming to the wellness center, either through student health or through CAPS?
Currently, our plan is to carry all the services we have available through student health and CAPS over to the Student Wellness Center. We're not limiting our services from what we currently provide. Once we get in the space, we'll have additional room to look at having some more clinical rotations for students perhaps, and then we're also going to have a space that we don't have now that's called a procedure room. So if a student needs to have a small procedure that doesn't require anesthesia, that's a potential for us to do that. We also have a room available to monitor a student for a longer period of time. Let's say someone comes in and they need to be monitored while they're waiting for transport by an ambulance. We'll have a room designated for that. We also we'll continue our laboratory services. Our lab is going to be much more expanded than what we have now, so that'll be larger. And then we will continue to offer the medications that we prescribe on campus that can be filled there as well, and offer over-the-counter medications for sale. So all of those will continue as we have. As we move into the space, it's like moving into a house. You're not quite sure where you're going to put your stuff in your kitchen until you move in. So once we get into the space, we can start looking at what we can expand. And of course, when you start expanding service lines, you have to have staff to support that. So that's one of the factors we have to consider as well.
Any other questions? Senator Tucker.
So I just quickly have a question about the medications that we do offer. In particular, I'm curious, I don't know if we currently offer birth control, but if we don't, will we?
Yes, we do. We offer multiple forms of birth control. In fact, we have a contraceptive coffee chat coming up in a couple weeks where it's a drop-in conversation with a nurse practitioner for 15 minutes if you want to talk about birth control options. That's coming up, I believe, next Friday. So if you look at our Facebook page, you can find that available. But yes, we offer birth control pills. We do the shot. We also do IUDs.
Senator Mounts.
So you mentioned you offer prep services as well. Hoping that the generic comes out next year. Is that something that the student health services will be offering as soon as next year, if that does come out?
Depends on the demand and the cost. We offer the ability for an individual to start PrEP, but we don't carry the medication because it is extremely expensive. Typically, if you have insurance or there's a partnership program with the manufacturer that we can help a person get connected with, when we decide to carry a medication in our formulary in our pharmacy, it has to be something that will get used before it outdates. Otherwise, we eat the cost. So when we purchase a medication for stock that someone's going to want, we need to have a demand for it, or we can't afford to keep it.
Are there any other questions for the representatives? Seeing none, thank you very much for your time. With that, we'll move into Section 5, Officer Reports. Item A, President's Report. Next.
Hello, everyone. Really quick, just to piggyback off of everything that they talked about, if you want to join the Health and Wellness Committee, just let me know and I can invite you to those meetings. Our next one is November 6th. I don't remember the time off the top of my head, but if you're interested and you want to continue having those conversations, please let me know and I will get you all that information. Okay, so today Cabinet had our monthly lunch with Dr. Terry Hall today. We basically just talked about things that we're doing on both sides, what she's been working on, what we've been working on, such as like the community garden and services that students have access to in regards to mental health. I've been working a lot on the JADK conference. Thank you to those of you who signed up. I greatly appreciate it. If you are still interested, please let me know. We do need more people for those panels. We're looking at 4 to 5 people per panel, and there's 3 different panels, and I think we are at 4 for one panel and 2 people for the first one, 4 people for the second one, and 0 for the last one. So we really do need individuals. If you are interested, please let me know. Or if you know of anybody else who would be good, like I said, please let me know. Next week, so next Wednesday, the 16th, Vice President Berth and I will be joining the Regents for lunch and then a hard hat tour of the Wellness Center. It's this month they don't have an official Kansas Board of Regents meeting. They are just coming down to our university to take a tour, look at all the awesome things that we're doing, things like that. So no K-Board meeting this month. As you all know, I've been working a lot with the search committee. We have 2 more meetings on Monday and Tuesday. So with that, those are the last interviews that the search committee will be doing. So if you have any potential questions or maybe topics I should listen for, suggestions, please let me know. I would love to hear what you all think that is important. I know Brandon Eckerman and I, who's the other student on the search committee, we've been working a lot as to what questions we should ask and whatnot. So if you have any, please reach out to me. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And then 2 more things in regards to my report. Student fees committee, election commission, and the chief of operations position are still open. Please encourage others to apply for those. You as senators are able to apply for the student fees committee, so if that's something you're interested in, please apply. You're also able to apply for the chief of operations position. So if that's also something you're interested in, that's something to keep in mind as well. And then also, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. If you have things that you're working on and you want an opinion or maybe I can help, please just come to my office, talk to me, email me, shoot me a message on Facebook. I want to help you all in any way that I can. I'm here for you guys. So then for the treasurer, I am currently working to change our internal model for how the Student Government Association applies for student fees. In the past, the treasurer has created and put forward the Student Government Association student fee proposal for the association's funds. It was then sent to the university budget office, where it was compiled with other reports and approved and edited by the Senate in the student fees process. This year, we want each cabinet member and chair of each committee to submit a recommendation for funds. After these recommendations are submitted, they will be reviewed by the treasurer and then submitted to the Senate before being sent to the university budget office to be submitted into the student fees packet. There will be more updates sent to the parties concerned at a later date. Chairs, if you have any questions, this will be discussed further at our next committee meeting. Finally, we have finished updating our budget system and are past the end of the quarter. We are on track for spending with 24% of our budget spent. And then Director of Public Relations, a chair has reached out to me and requested individual WSU branding lockups for each branch of the association. Those can be found in the shared drive under logos and illustrations. Additionally, survey questions are due to me by Friday at 5 p.m. If anyone has questions, please give them to your committee chair or to the committee chair with which the question pertains. If it is a general association related question, feel free to send them my way and I will look them over again. Send them to the Director of Public Relations. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please reach out to the Director of Public Relations. Thank you. And that is all I have.
Are there any questions for the President? Senator Day.
Yes, I've heard rumors about this, so I just want to confirm. How many students have applied to the Student Fees Committee as of right now, or if you're allowed to say so?
For student fees, we've had 0 applications. So apply. Same with Elections Commission and also Chief of Operations, just to keep you on the loop. So, and for student fees, it's constituency group. So y'all have constituency groups as it is. Not that senators should be the only ones on this committee, but yeah. So please either apply or encourage other students to apply. We really need to get going on this. So,
Senator Martin.
If you're on the election commission, are you allowed to run in the election?
No.
No.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. You're okay. Yeah, no. So, yeah.
And then before we move on, you also can't be in your current position and on that.
Yeah. So if you wanted to serve on the election commission, you would have to resign as a senator.
Any other questions for the President? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Wonderful.
We'll move into item B, Vice President's report. I hid all my stuff over here, so I won't have to carry it. So there's a couple things that I have. A lot of my list is just day-to-day things, so I'm going to skip over those. With the Sustainability Steering Committee, they're doing great and wonderful things, but what I am doing as part of their group, as our contribution, is I'm helping to design the actual layout of the garden itself for the community garden. And so that's me playing landscape architecture to make sure that, number one, we have enough room for what we plan on planting, and everything has its respective space, because different plants require a certain amount of room, and they all vary. So making sure that you have everything set up in such a way that you can cycle through, so that you not only know what's being grown now, but what will go in after that crop has been harvested and all of that. But then the architect part comes into actually making it look pretty and not just like a bunch of dirt with plants. And so that's the majority of what I'll be doing for them, running it through different programs to set it up. So you get an aerial view, you'll have looking at it at ground level, considering certain things like adding a shaded bench in the back so you can come and have lunch in the garden, things like that. So that's what I'm doing there. One of the other things, and I did put it out on Sharker Sync, so you can download this, but I can also send it to you in email if you would like. But I did have an individual, Michelle DeHaven. I'm forgetting her office title at the moment. But she reached out and wants to get the Senate's feel for National Day Without Water, which is on October 23rd. So she sent me a template, which is what I just showed you and is also available on Sharker Sync in today's folder. And it has detailed out a list of water conservation and preservation ideas, or not concerns, but things to be aware of. On those, everything that's highlighted in yellow is missing information that if you are passionate enough to take this on as yourself, you would have to go and find, and myself and the advisors can help you get in touch with those that you would need. But one of the things I feel is cabinet shouldn't be doing legislation unless it's administrative or anything like that. So since this would not be an administrative one, I am pitching that idea to all of you. If you so choose, please come meet with me. I'll give you all of the information. Other than that, I stand for questions if there are any. Senator Ritchie.
I know you must be pretty early in the planning stages, but is there any like location or like opening dates that you have in mind for this community garden?
So, location is the current community garden, which nobody knows about. At least that's the most often answer I tell people when there is one. But it is over on the backside of Alberg on the parking lot side. On the side closest to the RSC, there's a flower garden. That's a memorial for, I'm forgetting their name, so please forgive me. But on the opposite side of that, there is about 2,180 square feet garden. There used to be boxes. Those have since been torn down, so I don't know if they are still continuing to utilize it. I haven't seen it in about a year, so it's kind of greened over, so it just looks like a hill right now. But that is the plan. Since it was there and it's a decent size and gets plenty of sun with enough shade for certain things, we're planning on improving that locale before we go out. But we did consider several other locations. That was the one that the committee decided was the most viable at this moment. As far as opening, we have talked about it, but we haven't settled on a date. We were kind of thinking Earth Day would be a great day to break ground, but up in the air at this moment. Senator Wright.
Yeah, I just wonder who's paying for all this community garden stuff. Is that like coming out of our budget, or I'm just unsure.
No, that's a great question, and I appreciate you asking it. So one of the things that the committee is looking at is how can we not spend money and still get this done. Several opportunities are available through grants. There are actually community garden grants that are available throughout Kansas and the nation. One of the ones that we are looking into is Go Garden Coalition. I think it's a $20,000 grant, but you have to meet certain requirements. And with some of the other programs that we're pushing within this committee, I believe that once those go into play, would qualify. And so working with them this is our game plan and maybe getting that one. But there's several others that we are reaching out to try and do. We are also trying to partner with businesses such as Home Depot or Star Lumber or several others to try and get either a discount or donation of time or materials. Does that answer your question? We don't have anything solid as of yet, but those are where we're looking at.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? With that, we will move into Section 6, Other Reports. Item A, Academics.
Okay, good evening, everybody. So I'm going to keep my report short and sweet today. Main thing is, on the 21st of this month, I will be attending a faculty senate meeting, so I will update you all on that after that happens. For the rest of my report, you can find it on, I'm so sorry, I forgot the word. Yeah, on Shocker Sync, on the record, and I'm open for questions.
Senator Peterson.
Would you be interested in, at that Senate meeting, talking at public forum about possibly getting that plus and minus system revoked?
Of course, yes.
Any other questions for the chair?
Just
just out of curiosity, what is the topic of the faculty senate meeting you'll be attending?
Gabe will be better at answering that.
It's just their general meeting. Yeah.
Any other questions for the chair? Seeing none, we'll move into item B, safety and student services.
So I hurt my foot, and I will be sitting down for my report. So I'm going to steal Ridge's laptop too. Hi there, switching around. So my main thing to talk about is the safety walk. So the safety walk was held yesterday. It was about an hour and a half long, and I think we did a lot of good work. And I want to thank all of the senators that showed up for that. You guys were a great help. And so moving on, the main things that we found while doing that were these issues that are on the board. So we found a lot of areas that we think need more crosswalks, and crosswalks that needed to be repainted, locations that you couldn't really see the blue lights. There were only one or two like that, broken sidewalks, obstructed or broken lights, just general light poles, areas that needed more lighting, traffic and pedestrian signs that were needed, and traffic blind spots. So this is a photo provided by one of our groups of a broken sidewalk that was brought to our attention. These are some places that we thought would need more crosswalks. So you might recognize one of those. It's behind Shocker Hall. There's this random sidewalk that just stops, like there's no more sidewalk. And so a lot of students either walk in the grass or they just cross the street at that point. And if you look at the larger photo, you can kind of see a student doing just that. So I thought that was a great photo because you could see him, like the sidewalk ended and he was crossing the street where there was no crosswalk. So yeah, that was fun. And the next one was areas that needed more light. So, more blue lights. So this area was between, is it Wiedemann, is it? I feel like that's wrong. And Dirksen. If you turn around, there were like 4 blue lights in sight. However, if you continued walking, the closest one was in a parking lot that was fairly far away. So that was a concern. And then overgrown trees that covered lights. So that's a wonderful light right there, which is being blocked by the tree limbs. So it's not really doing its full potential. And then this is an area with broken lights. Lights aren't working. And then one of the big things that we found was the broken lights by Clinton Hall. So around the building, there's apparently these exterior lights. I never knew this. And so we can tell that they're broken because if you look in the left photo, there's one of them working, which means all the others are broken or need replaced. So around the entire building, there's no lights where they're supposed to be. And in the right photo, you can see Senator Peterson down on the sub-level entrance, and that area needs to be lit for student safety. And if those exterior lights were working, it would be lit, and that would solve the problem. So, and then this is a picture of an area by Obla Library where it's pretty dark and more lights are needed. I've thought this before, and they always said that the lights given off by Obla at night are enough, but I don't think it's sufficient. And then, lastly, one of the big things that we came across is the line of sight issue by the Wonder School. So there is the black fence, and I'm standing in that photo exactly on like the spot where you would cross. And so I'm looking one way, I can't see if the cars are coming. And if I can't see the cars, can the cars see me? And then in that same spot, I just turned to where the crosswalk would be. And so at that point, that's the only entrance to that parking lot. So tons of cars just swerve in there all the time. most of them in a rush to park. And so, again, if I can't see the car, how can the car see me? So if it's just putting up a sign that says pedestrian crossing ahead or something like that, so that cars slow down. Actually, in my group, while we were walking, we almost got hit by a car doing that exact same thing, like swerving into the parking lot. So that was something. So that's all the main big things. Those photos were primarily all from my walking group. So if you were on the walk and you had additional photos or additional things that you noticed and think should have been on that presentation right there, please email them to me at sga.safety@wichita.edu. And I am open for questions.
Are there any questions for the chair? Senator Majors.
Senator Babin shared something on our Facebook page today in regards to a student being critically injured while being hit on 17th and Fairmount. And I was just wondering if, it wasn't my group last night, so I was wondering if any group was able to get on 17th and Fairmount and whether any crosswalks were needed there.
So there is a crosswalk that my committee has been working on putting on that street. However, the person who was hit right next to a crosswalk that is already put in position there. The light where you push the button and it turns red and you cross on 17th and, is it Perimeter? Or? Fairmount. 17th and Fairmount. The one that my committee is looking to put in is 17th and Harvard, which is what we're talking to Councilman Brandon Johnson about.
Any other questions for the chair? Seeing none, we'll move into item C, diversity, empowerment, and inclusion.
I will just be submitting my report to the record.
Are there any questions for the chair? Seeing none, we'll move to item D, ways and means. No, you're perfect.
All right. Hi, everyone. So today, the Ways and Means Committee, we listened to speakers for the new organizations that they wanted to start it up. We passed bills. Those will be presented to the Senate floor next meeting. And so there's that. We also discussed the question for the surveys that I'm sure like other committees have also discussed. We came up with questions such as, how can SGA be more transparent with them? Because knowing Ways and Means, it is a new committee. How can we, collect data that will be more useful for our organization? So things like that were discussed, but, I still have to finalize the question, work on them. I'm going to, send my committee members email just to be sure, we're all on the same page before turning it into Mackenzie, I believe. And that would be that. And we also discussed how we want to change the Supreme Court or how we want to change, what's written in our bylaws about the Constitution about Supreme Court. We will be discussing that further and making the changes like next meeting. So I can elaborate more on that next time I'm up here. So with that being said, I also had my meeting with Gabriel, and we also discussed how the Ways and Means Committee should look at the process for the Senate Review Board and how it should go through the Ways and Means Committee. And so that's another thing we will be discussing after we are done with the Supreme Court. So with that being said, I'm open for questions.
Are there any questions for the chair? Set your hand up. Seeing none. And I put that one in the wrong spot.
With a motion.
Senator Mounts.
I motion to add SB 6266, appointing the position of at-large senator and DEI committee member to the agenda under new business.
Do you have it open? No. That's fine. I can pull it up and read it.
Second.
That comes after we've learned what we're voting on. You got it? Yes, please.
So this is just essentially the bill that will be appointing Kylie, the former chief of operations, to an at-large Senate position, and then also to my committee.
Is there a second?
Second.
Well, Senator Wright with the second. Does require a vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Hold them high. How did I get 28? I got 28. Thank you. I don't know how we hit that, but all opposed, same sign. I have to check my. Yeah, you might want to put it up there. Motion carries with 28 in favor, requiring a vote of 18. So that will be added under appointments, item B. With item A, SB-62-065, appointing the position of returning adult senator. This is why you don't play with buttons. Anyway, does the author wish to speak to this bill?
Off my game. We're on returning adult, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So Bridget attended SGA Day during the month of September, where she met with other members of the association and applied to become a senator within the hour, which I think is pretty cool. I believe Bridget will be a great addition to the association, as she will be able to advocate for her constituents' needs and hopes to promote their academic success, which she was also last week appointed to the academics committee as well. So that's it.
Any questions for the author? Thank you. Is the nominee here? Please approach the podium.
Good evening to each and every one of you. Of course, my name is Bridget Kennedy. I am a returning adult. That's the reason why I accepted this nomination. I would like to be that. I can't even think of the word. I'm kind of a little nervous here. But anyway, so I just want to make sure that every returning adult gets a fair chance to be a student here at Wichita State.
Are there any questions for the nominee? Seeing none, thank you. May either stay or leave for debate. Moving into the debate period.
With a motion.
Senator Mounts.
Since we do not have enough people here to confirm, I motion to table this bill until next week.
Does require a second. I don't remember if tabling is debatable. I don't think it is, right, Gabe? Seeing as it is not debatable, we'll move right into the voting period.
Point of inquiry. Hi. What is the number we need to confirm?
We need 30. We currently have 28.
Point of information, is that including the people who got here late?
That includes everybody that has been appointed to Senate, and 2/3 of them. So with the individuals that are being appointed, no. Senator Tucker.
With a motion, I'd like to move for a 15-minute recess.
Does require a second.
You have to finish the first one.
Right? Well, no, we've already finished that one, and we're moving into the voting
It
period.
was never a vote. You have to do the vote on his motion first.
You're right. With that, we'll get to your motion. So all in favor of tabling this piece until next week? Please raise your hand and hold them high. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. All opposed, same sign? Two. There's only 2 people with their hands up.
There's 3.
Thank you. Two-thirds are present. Motion carries. Receiving 24 out of the required 18. We will come back to this one next week. Moving into item B, SB-62-066. Appointing the position of at-large senator and Diversity, Empowerment, and Inclusion Committee member. Authored by Katrina Miller, Student Body President, and Michael Berth, President of the Senate. Action first, to appoint the position of at-large senator, I hereby nominate Kylie Lepetsky to this position. Kylie is dedicated to and passionate about serving the student body through Student Government Association. Her dedication and passion has been demonstrated through her service as Chief of Operations and now as a nominee for at-large senator. Kylie will be a great representative for the student body. Action second, to appoint a member to the Diversity, Empowerment, and Inclusion Committee. I hereby nominate Kylie Lepetsky to the position of Diversity, Empowerment, and Inclusion Committee member. Do the authors wish to speak to this bill?
Well, we all know Kylie, and so I think it's safe to say at least the majority of us are all really excited that she's still wanting to continue to serve in SGA. I think it's speaks very highly of her character to, step down from an executive position and now still want to continue as a senator. That's all I have.
So for my portion of it, the reason it's split this way and why both of us are an author is because the senator appointments are still in the Constitution amendments that we approved, and those are not finalized until we have an election and the students say yes to our changes. And so currently, the president still has to appoint those, but then I'm able to appoint 2 committees per the bylaws. And so that's why it's the split. But for mine, during the interview, we had a discussion about what committees she was interested in, which one that she felt best, and it was DEI. So I felt confident putting it on her. Are there any questions for the authors? Seeing none, thank you. Does nominee wish to speak to this bill?
Thank you for that. Hi, everyone. I know most of you guys
know me. My name's Kylie Lepetsky. I'm a sophomore here studying social work. I applied for the at-large seat because I am passionate about SGA, and I do want to continue that in the 60-second session. Some ideas that I have for the at-large seat, I think communication is always a problem anywhere you go, but I feel like when it comes, Wichita State is really good at integrating new students into Wichita State with freshman orientation and everything like that, but I feel like we lack on the follow-up on how to use those resources, and I think a lot of students get lost in how to get involved, like the first step in getting involved, as that can be really scary. So I would like to kind of look into resources on how to have better outreach, not only within first-year students, but also with commuter students as well. I've already talked to some commuter students on campus, and I know they've talked about disconnection from campus just because of the lack of involvement or not really sure where to start on that. So that's my main big one as of right now. Obviously, parking is a huge one that I think obviously people are still talking about and we need to figure out, so that is also something that I would be looking into as well. And now I'm open for any questions.
Are there any questions for the nominee? Senator Flores.
During your resignation, you mentioned that you had difficulties with time allocation, and so I'm wondering how exactly you plan on handling that as a senator, if appointed.
I understand that. Yes, I did say that in my resignation speech. With that, I was directing more towards, I guess I should have been more specific, with the Government Relations Committee, on top of doing the Chief of Operations role, that allocated 20 to 25 hours a week. As the Government Relations Committee chair was a new addition to the role and something I had no experience in, I would have had to put in double the time and work in that, and that wasn't something I felt comfortable with, knowing that the members that were applying to my committee had more experience and time in that field than I did. So that's more what I was talking about with the time allocation. I feel like, Senate meetings, it's already in my brain to come to Senate meetings. It's kind of weird not to be here on Wednesdays. And also with the 2-hour time, that is very decreased to what I was putting in before. So I don't think that would be a problem at all. But thank you for asking.
Any other questions for the nominee? Seeing none, the nominee may either stay or leave for debate.
Thank you.
Moving into the debate period.
With a motion.
Senator Mounts.
I motion to table this bill until next week.
Does require a second. Senator Cowden with the second. With that, all those in favor of tabling this bill until next week, please raise your hand and hold them high.
Point of information. Are we only tabling debate, or are we tabling debate and voting, or just debate?
So we just had the debate. You guys can put your hands down. So we just had the debate. We didn't have the debate. Sorry. We tabled it before we got to the debate. So when we come to it next week, that's where we will pick up. Since we've already heard from the nominee and from the authors, we'll go right into the debate on it. If there are, first we'll ask if there's any additional questions you may have thought of. If there aren't any, then we'll move into the debate, and then we'll move into the voting. Does that answer your question? With that, all opposed, same sign. Motion carries, receiving 25 of the required 19. So we'll move into this item next week. With that, All the rest of our agenda items or sections don't have anything, so we will skip straight to remarks and announcements.
With a motion.
Senator Mounts.
I motion to move in executive session until 8:29.
29. Not secondable, right? Not debatable, but second. Does require a second.
Second.
Senator Zacharias with the second.
Point of information.
Senator Peterson.
What are we voting on? I'm not sure what that means.
So, executive session is utilized to talk about personnel matters as well as confidential information, things like that. And so it's not live streamed. We will turn everything off. Well, maybe not turn off, but kill the sound and picture and whatnot. But then we will move in and we will be in executive session until the designated time, regardless of whether we have gone through all of the material we have had for it or not. And then at that time, we will come back to the meeting and resume as normal. Does that answer your question? With that, all those in favor, please raise your hand and hold them high. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries, receiving 25 in favor, 3 against, and 17 abstentions. So at this time, we will now move into the executive session. That would be you.
Point of information. Are we still under Robert's rules?
Yes.
Okay.
Hold up.
You go ahead and
David,
explain
can we
it.
make sure the cameras are off? Thank you.
Are we good? Thank you. With that, where did we leave off? Remarks and announcements. Are there any remarks and announcements at this time. Senator Mattson.
Hello, everyone. Just like to share a reminder for the United Nations dinner that's taking place on Sunday, October 20th at 5:30 in this room. There's more information on the Facebook page. Feel free to ask me if you'd like more information on that as well. The deadline to purchase tickets is next week on Monday.
Any other remarks and announcements? Senator Webb.
Hello, also. I just want to give you a little bit of an update on what our committee was working on with the Senate membership. We're basically trying to look between two options to propose in the bill, and we're looking at, if you remember, I wanted to, we were kind of looking at upping the threshold from 1,000 to 2,000 for determining how many seats are dispersed, and so we're looking at one option is to not include at-large senators in that, so the at-large number of seats would be the same. And then option 2 would be to include that, and so the at-large number of seats would be cut in half. And so those are the two options we're looking at. Our committee was a little split, and so if you have any feedback on which option you would like to see being proposed from our committee, please talk to me afterwards or shoot me an email or whatever. We'd love your feedback. Thanks.
Any other remarks and announcements? President Miller.
Whoever has my pin, please don't take it home with you. I love that pin. Don't steal it. Thank you.
Jordan says he likes your pin. He's going to snatch it.
Any other remarks and announcements? Senator Ritchie.
So I know many of you may hear like a lot of fine arts people throw around that the fine arts are like underfunded and like underrepresented or whatever. I recently went out to because I'm technically a representative of 4 or 5 different disciplines, like performing arts, creative industries, Shocker Studios, other ones. I recently went out to Henry and Hall, which is the School of Art and Design building. It was in rough shape, y'all. I wanted to like put a plug out there, so if you guys know any fine arts majors that maybe aren't like School of Music, because we need representatives that are like outside of that discipline, that we can help better represent fine arts. I would really appreciate it. And do I have to raise my hand for a second announcement? Okay, just a plug for 2 upcoming performances that are School of Music. October 10th, Thursday at 7:30 is Madrigals and Women's Glee Club, free admission for WC students. And then October 18th, Friday at 7:30, it's the faculty low strings recital. Cello, upright bass, and viola faculty is having a performance October 18th, Friday at 7:30, still free for WCU students.
Any other remarks and announcements? Senator Mounts.
Alrighty, so to plug more ODI's fun stuff, I know I pushed this at least twice, but we have, if it'll load, the Art of Code Switching tomorrow at the CAC Theater starting at 6 p.m. I highly encourage you all go. I will actually hopefully be able to make it to this one. And then on October 17th, there is Living Out Loud with Nal DeMarco. Again, I think I've talked enough about him. You can, I don't remember the exact website, but there is a link to go get your free ticket. So you do have to get a ticket, but it does not cost you any money. Other than that, I think that is it.
Any other remarks and announcements? Senator Day.
Yes, I know this was brought up earlier, but the Student Government Association Student Fees Committee is accepting applications until Friday of this week at 5 p.m. I don't know if they'll be extended or not, but I encourage as many of you as are able to attend this to apply. Thank you.
Any other remarks and announcements? Senator Flores.
The WCU debate team is competing again this weekend. Only one team is going, but they will be competing at Emporia this weekend. So keep them in your thoughts for safe travels and wish them luck.
Any other remarks and announcements? Director Haas.
Hi, survey questions are due Friday at 5. That's in 2 days, like Friday, this Friday, 2 days.
Due at 5. That was 5 p.m., not a.m. Any other remarks and announcements? Senator Castillo.
This is a little ways away, but the School of Performing Arts is having Anything Goes starting October 31st, running till November 3rd. I don't have a confirmation on times, but I'm assuming it's the regular 7:30 show times as well as the 2 p.m. matinees. It's going to be at Wilner Auditorium, and they're going to be having a guest director. So yeah, you guys should come and check out the Anything Goes show. So yeah.
Shameless plug. Any other remarks and announcements? Seeing none, I have one. You got to remember the stuff. So one of the things we did in the last session was a Senator of the Month, and after getting all of the hours and whatnot in for every day in September, I've reviewed everybody's files for our submissions, whether they're not they've met with a dean, attendance, and things like that. So Senator Khan is always willing to pitch in and help others, and she has demonstrated this fact time and time again by assisting many of you as you were first appointed with the rigors of the association's inner workings. Meeting with several constituents on a frequent basis, to include meeting with her respective dean and capturing their needs, wants, and concerns and expressing them to myself and others to get them resolved, or at least the process started. Her dedication to students of Wichita State University has seen her exceed the Senator Hour requirement for the month with a total of 16 approved hours, and additionally, she took the top hours for submissions in 3 of the 5 weeks. Senator Khan, if you would join me at the podium, please. So, with that, I would like to present to you your certificate made by the fabulous Director Haas. There you are. Congratulations. You did also get a gift card. And I'll take this one. Any other remarks and announcements? Senator Nazir.
I can attest to the fact that she puts her heart and soul into SGA, because even when we're not in our SGA hours and we're just on dinner dates, she will make the time to talk about SGA and make sure that I have a really great transition into SGA as a new senator. So.
Any other remarks and announcements? Senator Zill.
I think you're great, Rija.
Any other remarks and announcements? Senator Zacharias. Look what I said.
Even as a senator who has been here longer than Rija, she still makes me step up my game and do more as a senator than I would normally, honestly. So.
Any other remarks and announcements? Oh, I thought you said somebody had one over there. With that, we will adjourn at 8:38 p.m. with a silent roll call. You should just start wearing an earring. Which one?
Did everybody get the chance to sign the card? Okay, thank you.